The asana we will discuss is the Bhujangasana. Bhujangasana means cobra pose. Cobra pose is a very interesting pose. It has many variations and it has been practiced by many people, yogis and everyone. Pose itself strengthens the back muscles very much. Entire back muscles is strengthened from the top of the head to down to the back of your legs as well. It stretches even the eyes. It helps with conditions of thoracic area, the way it stretches and it stretches the heart area. It opens up the heart. It invigorates, removes conditions of depressive moods. It also massages your abdominal organs in the abdomen, your digestive organs, and invigorates that. At the same time, it also helps with conditions of women's problem like ovaries and uterus. That's why it is one of the basic asanas for women. It assists conditions, whether it's menopause and menstruation or hormonal imbalances. The asana cannot be done when you have conditions of the back problems, and if you are pregnant, it's quite difficult to get into the pose. And the asana can be very useful for stiffness on the back, but if you have that condition at the moment, you ought to release the stiffness before you get into the pose. The asana is known to energize our sympathetic nervous system. It's very useful for our nervous system very much. And it is useful for those with heart complaints. Now let's see how do we do this pose so it can be effective enough. Lie on your belly. Generally the legs are together. If it comes apart, it's perfectly fine because it depends also. It's not easy to keep the front up and the legs together because it really engages the muscles of the inner thighs and the glutes. Pressing the top of the foot to the floor as you come up. Raise the knees so you're not putting pressure on the knees, especially if you have knee issue. Please place a blanket or something soft under the knees, lifting the thighs, the quads up. The legs are together, the muscles of the inner thighs and glutes are engaged. Scoop the tailbone so it's easy for you to press. You're pressing into the floor. The pelvic is pressing into the floor as you do this, and engage the muscle, the lowermost muscle of the rectus abdominis. Now place the palms. The palms may be placed below your shoulder if you find this is a comfortable position for you, or just below the ears. Now placing the palms in such a way that when you come up, the humerus bones are not pressed into a tight straining position. So you may want to vary a little bit on your palms if you need to. You may even have to direct your thumb upward so you sort of open up that tension. You're not pressing into the humeral bone. And the weight is on the arms, but you could also put the elbow like as though you're holding one end of the elbow to the other, like pressing into, so that you are forwarding your heart chest forward as you go into the pose. And the neck. The neck is, if you find a lot of strain on the neck, instead of going all the way up, just coming up like that, you may want to swan dive. That means roll the neck, chin touches the chest, and as you come up, you're rolling up, you find it a bit easier to look up. You're looking at, just stretching your eyes, looking at the ceiling. The ceiling could be far away from you, or it could be near, directly above. It all depends on how much you want to extend your neck. So if you have issues of the neck, for example, herniated, then you don't want to bend so much. That's not a problem because you're looking up to the ceiling, but it may be pressing your part, so you need to be mindful that you're not pressing it too much, that it's going to cause pain. Do not lead with your chin, lead with your heart, chest forward. Another consideration is usually most of us would feel a lot of pressure on your palms or on your shoulders. So you want to bring the shoulder blades together, down. Looking, if you can look up all the way, you can just look forward. Stretching the eyes towards the ceiling will give you the extra stretch to the eyes. And coming down. It's important to inhale, holding the breath, 8 seconds or less, and coming out. Be wary of or be conscious of the movement of your vertebrae, spine as you come up and down, beat at the time to get into the pose and get out of the pose. Let's look at the different variations we can do for the asana. For this Bhujangasana, we place the palms near just under the shoulders, if you can manage that. You place the palms under the ears. You can also place the palms with the thumbs facing up, especially if your arms are interior rotated. So that gives you a good lift of the upper part of the body. In some cases, we may have to put the arms further out in order to give a bit more lift than usual, depending on what is much more comfortable for you to get into the position. In some situations, just placing your arms in the Sphinx position with the elbows on the floor may work well with some of us.